Greetings, Bat Warriors. Greetings. Greg is back. Another live stream for the Results Kill Excuses channel. I know I'm going to reach somebody. I know I'm here to reach somebody. But you know where that starts? It starts with reaching myself. And then I feel like I have the great honor. One of the greatest honors is to reach you. Yes, you. Are you ready to be reached? Are you ready to be reached? Is right now the time that you want to be reached? Or are you like, nah, I'm not trying to be reached right now. Not trying to be reached. Not with the message of inspiration, of transformation, of empowerment, right? Some real empowerment. You to take your power back. To truly become the best version of yourself. It's something that I am so grateful that I hit a rock bottom. Going on 14 years ago, hit a rock bottom that broke this dude into a bazillion pieces. And I blew past so much caution tape, so many warning signs. I blew right past it all. I had to hit that rock bottom. And you know what's tough about that? It's going to be the topic, the main focus. You know, we'll move all over the place. But the main topic that I want to share with you tonight is this right here. You must really love pain. What does that mean to you when you hear that? You must really love pain. Something popped up for me this week. Yes, I'm still learning new things each and every day. That's the whole part of the spiritual awakening. Right? When you answer that call, right? I'm on here because I'm calling. And it's not just me calling. You know who's really calling? It's God. God is calling you. Yes, you are being called. You are chosen. You have a purpose on this planet. And it's not to keep doing the same old things. It's not to continue your suffering, your sadness. It's not to avoid listening to the difficult conversations being had right now. But you are being called. Will you pick up that phone? Will you listen? Will you listen? But what comes up for you when you think about you must really love pain? I know that I love pain, and the reason why I'm gonna jump to the point that I'm going to make, and I'll keep going back to it in tonight's message, is there's two ways that we learn. Most of us, we learn through pain. And thus, a lot of you right now are on the struggle bus because this is how you learn. And some of you are struggling right now because you haven't even realized, it's always taking pain for me to learn the lesson, for me to get out of my funk, to get beyond my self-sabotage, to make some changes in my life. It's taken the pain. And yet, a lot of us, and I say that collectively, right? There's a collective spirit here of humanity. All of us are in this boat together. I know we want to be separate. I know we want to create our divisions and sit with our teams and, separate ourselves and think that we got it figured out. Like I said, I learn new things each and every day. And something I learned is that there's two ways for us to learn. We learn through pain, or you can learn through joy. But most of us, we like the pain, don't we? We like the pain. See, the truth is we actually don't like the pain, right? We hide We hide behind the masks. And we avoid, and yet we have programmed ourselves that the way that we respond greatest is through pain. And I'm telling you right here, right now, if you could become conscientious enough, which is just to be present, to really receive this message that you don't have to learn through pain. I've said this a lot of different ways throughout many, many messages, and it really comes filtered through my own experiences. I'm here right now because I hit a rock bottom, but guess what? I didn't just hit the rock bottom. I got up, I dusted off, and I started making some massive changes in my life. And it wasn't just the outside, it was from the inside. It was changing my mind, and that the way I changed my mind, drum roll please, the way I changed my mind was sobriety. I had way too many chemical distortions. I needed to get some clarity. I needed to allow my body to heal from just the abuse of alcohol and, yes, even the THC. Those were my two vices. Some of y'all struggle with all kinds, nicotine, eating. I mean, eating was a big thing too, but the ones that were causing me the biggest problem, and it clearly is shown in a very not so glorious criminal past, was the criminal past, was the problems that I took. It took me that much pain. You must really love pain, right? That it took me that much pain to finally say enough's enough. Enough's enough. For real this time. Right? One time didn't do it. One DWI, two DWIs, a domestic violence arrest. Finally, this dude right here is ready to change his life. Finally. And not just do it like for a season, not just do it temporarily. Once things get a little better, and then it's like, okay, I could go right back to it. I tried that after the first DWI. The first DWI. I should be, the worst case scenario. There's a lot of worst case scenarios for my first DWI. Who wants to hear about it? That breath right there. It's one of the most powerful tools that I have in the now. Because I can sit in that fire when I go back, and it's like I don't get re-victimized. I can sit in it and be like, man, I learned the lesson. I didn't learn it right away. I've learned it now, though. I promise you that. I've learned the lesson now. And the beautiful thing is I didn't have to relearn the lesson through pain. I could learn it through joy, through peace. I always say you have a choice. We all have a choice right now. You have a choice right this moment. You can start making some choices that lead to you changing your habits, your patterns, your everything, anything about yourself. You can start making some drastic changes, and you could do it peacefully. You can do it with a willingness, with an openness, with a determination, which is like, you know what? I don't want to feel all that pain. Let me start doing this stuff proactively because I don't want it to come to that. If there's any reason why I get on here, why I've built this Results Kill Excuses channel, why I've built the 1% Better Everyday Journal, the app, everything, you name it. Why do I get on here? It's because I am trying. I don't even try. What I have built is the man is a this man talking to you right now is the man I wish I had at any phase of my past life. I created this man. And what I know about this man is that he has a calling. And part of his calling is to serve. And part of that service is to help other people that are going through things that I was going through in my past, to help guide, encourage, inspire, just speak some life into you, some hope, talk some sense into you. I can't make any changes for you though. That's on you. But I guarantee you, if you're hearing this message, it's not an accident. If you're on the struggle bus right now, that's also not an accident. You're exactly where you need to be. The question is, do you want to stay where you're at? Or do you have the openness to give yourself permission to start making some changes, to start improving your situation? Or if you're somebody that's kind of given up, I know that feeling. I would say that my rock bottom was a sequence and a series of me jumping off metaphorical ledges, trying to like self-destruct my life. Like I kept trying to self-destruct. I kept blowing past the caution tape, the warning signs. And eventually I had to have that rock bottom moment that caused enough pain for me to say, all right, you know what? Oh my goodness. All right, I'm done. I'm done. But the most significant, the first situation that could have ended it all was that first DWI. The first DWI, I was 19 years old and I'd just gone back off of deployment. I was a Navy corpsman in the military and I'd just come back from the Middle East and I just bought a brand new Jeep Wrangler. I was so pumped up. Brand new Jeep Wrangler, like showroom model. And I was so proud to like drive back home to my hometown. But it was like party season. We call it the fiestas here in northern New Mexico. It's like early September, Labor Day. And I remember on the journey out here, I picked up my cousin and his girlfriend, and he was from here too. I had to pick him up in Vegas, so a little bit of partying there, and then finally we made it here to New Mexico. And she wasn't my wife yet, but we were definitely on that trajectory. I picked her up, and my cousin wasn't even with me, and he was pretty pissed off that I had kind of ditched him to go partying. And I remember that night, it was me, my now ex-wife, but she was still my girlfriend at this time. And it was two of her friends. And I was driving this brand new Jeep Wrangler. It was nighttime, and we were headed like to an outskirts of town to go to this house party. And while we're driving, right, we're passing around a bottle of Jose Cuervo. It was silver tequila, like a fifth. We were just all, I'm driving, passing, and I know I'm hauling ass, especially for like a Jeep Wrangler. I was driving pretty fast, just having the time of our lives, feeling bulletproof. And before you know it, it's like super rural in this area. So it's like pitch black, barely just the high beams, whatever that part of the road can do. And before you know it, all I see is I didn't see any warning signs, but next thing you know, a dead man's turned appeared. And before I could make a left turn, which is the direction it went, I tried to correct, and the Jeep rolled up this embankment. And so it rolled, I'm going to say it rolled 3 times. It went boom, boom, boom. Again, no top on the Jeep. No one's wearing seatbelts. And it rolled up this embankment. And by a miracle, it actually rolled back down one time, and we stopped. We came to a stop, right side up. And how nobody got ejected is nothing less than a miracle. Because we should be all dead, for sure. Or I should be one of these guys that's like carrying around the guilt of being a drunk driver and having killed could have been his soon-to-be wife, the mother of his children, and 2 of her best friends. I should be that guy, and I should probably still be in jail. But right, total miracle that no one died, not even a broken bone. I don't even think someone broke a nail. How does that happen in a Jeep Wrangler with no seatbelts, no top on? And the Jeep was totaled. I mean, even if you had just seen the roll bar, was like, should have like chopped someone's head off. This real talk. And yet I went down with the ship. And you want to know what's crazy? You want to know how there's a lot of lessons in that. One of the biggest lessons is how powerful alcohol is. How powerful our chemical dependencies are. Because you would think, having had a situation like that happen, that would be enough pain, but even just enough grace that wait, the worst didn't happen. Wait, whoa, we're spared. Everyone's alive. You know what? We probably don't want to do that again. Do you think that miracle was enough to stop me from drinking? And even worse, driving ever again? Nope. That tells you how powerful it is. When me and 3 people that were near and dear to my heart should all be dead, or at least me be a guy that killed his friends drinking and driving, if that didn't get me to stop, not only get me to stop drinking, but to not ever drink and drive ever again. And what's crazy is I have a cousin that her and her boyfriend got in a bad accident, and she was in a coma for a while, and she's had massive disabilities, and the boyfriend died. And this happened, I don't know if it happened maybe 10 years before my accident, but I know my mom like freaked out because she was like, she always pointed back to my cousin, like, how could you do that? you know what happened to her. That you're so lucky that this didn't happen to you. But it didn't stop me. It didn't stop me. It's powerful, ain't it? Our addictions. And it's not even our addictions. You know it's really powerful. The thing that's so powerful is our desire to try and figure out how to alleviate ourselves of pain. We're tricksters, aren't we? Are you a trickster? I know I was a master trickster. Because I think the first time that I ever had alcohol is probably somewhere between 10 and 12. But I know for a fact that I started binge drinking weekends for sure by the age of 12. And I probably, by the time I was 15, I was drinking a majority of the days. Drinking. And back then, man, we were drinking trash, right? I don't even want to glorify the shit that we used to drink. But the thing about it was that I know now that I didn't know back then was alcohol gave me a sense of relief. And it relieved anger, which was really attached to fear, which was really attached to what? The emotional trauma from childhood. That when I was a kid, ain't nobody know what the hell is going on. We didn't have the information like this, where people could actually share real life stories of value. And that's the difference. That's the difference with what's really starting to shift. It's shifting in every single one of our lives right now. Is the things that we have used along this journey to alleviate ourselves from pain that we don't know how to communicate. Those things are not working anymore. And it's frustrating us because we want to just keep suppressing our feelings, suppressing how we feel deep down inside. We don't want to deal with our pain. But when you don't want to deal with your pain, that really leads us to the whole point. That must mean that you really love pain. But the thing is you don't love pain. But if pain is all you've ever known, then you have literally told God that you only learn when it's painful. So the lessons that you bring into your life, it's your creation. God's just sitting there watching and allowing everything that needs to unfold. That is like where we have freedom in this experience. But even then, right, there was absolute divine protection that no one died in that accident. Right. And there was probably there was lots of voices saying, yep, you should probably change your ways. Guess what? I had a choice. I said, no, I'm not going to change my ways. Because why? I love pain. Pain was all I ever knew. And so I guess I need more pain. I need more pain. I need more lessons. I need bigger and badder lessons of pain. And so it happened, right? Like literally, it was 9 years to the day that I got DWI number 2. DWI number 2, 9 years to the day. Synchronicities, right? And I don't look at any of it as like, oh, I was judged. That's not the God that I know. It's not about judgment. God is not judge. He's love. It's love. It's pure love. It's our egos that create the separation. It's our egos that operate in one of two things. Really, well, no, I take that back. To be clear, our egos only operate in fear. And our egos will promise lots of stuff. It promises so much. It says, I got you. I'll take care of you. And then right when you're like, okay, I'm gonna take the leap of faith. Catch me, you promise, right? And you fall flat on your fucking face. But we're so gullible and deceived. We deceive ourselves. Especially when it comes to the pain. And it's so wild that you have all the power you need to alleviate yourself from the pain within. But so many people I know that come across this message, you run. Where do you run to? You run to things that distract you from your pain. When I'm over here doing the opposite. I'm shining the light, saying, oh, wait, look, there's the pain. There's the pain. I shine the light on myself. Continue to shine the light on myself. To examine myself, to understand myself, to get to the root of the pain. It's the reason why it was so hard to break up with alcohol. I've always had to describe alcohol as a relationship because it is. When you have any kind of addiction, it's everything. Everything is relation. Your cravings for food, it's all about your relation. Your interactions with people, innate objects, even just thoughts. Your thinking. You have a relationship with your mind. A lot of us have toxic minds, fearful minds, negative minds. And the wildest thing is that you can make a choice to start dealing with and figuring yourself out. But in order to do that, you'd have to probably find the courage and strength and the clarity that I had to find to like disconnect from all the distractions. Because it's really hard. If you've ever tried to do like some mindfulness or like a meditation, right? If you've ever tried to like even spend some time out in nature, and then, if you could just imagine like you're just sitting there and you're just wanting to just listen to the birds and the river and the wind blowing through the trees, or you're just trying to like find that quiet place in your house and you're just wanting to listen to like a guided meditation and do a little bit of breathing and just find a really peaceful place where you don't just fall asleep. You're really just trying to relax. We call it peace and quiet. And if you could just imagine trying to have that peace and quiet, and the next thing you know, 5 people show up and they all got Bluetooth speakers and they're all playing. One's playing a podcast, the other playing rock music, the other playing, trap music, the other one's playing country music, the other one's playing a political rally, and it's just like just noisy. It's so noisy. You're like, how do you focus? How can you really enjoy the moment? Can you find peace in that kind of chaos? when you find mastery, you can, but even then, you don't embrace that. That's like, it's hard. It's hard to cut through all that noise. But that's what's really going on inside of most of our minds right now. There's so much we're focused on. There's so much we're distracted on. And I remember along my 14-year journey, it was really after 2008, 2009, another painful lesson when the economy fell off the cliff. I had to literally close up my business, liquidate my assets, which included a lot of real estate, and liquidate almost everything I could to lighten my load so that I could pack up my family and move back home to my home state. It's a whole nother story of just trials and tribulations and challenges in life. Did it destroy me? Almost. But it's all a part of the transformation. It's all about saying things can happen to you, and you're a victim, and you're sad, and you're angry, and why me, and how come I can't catch a break? Or you can sit there and say, what's the lesson in this? It could be something horrific. It could be something terrible that you've been through. But are you able to not just, we want everybody to have sympathy for us. We want everybody to see us for our wounds and have sympathy and, try and comfort us years into the future, still being comforted for things that happened so long ago. And I'm not trying to diminish when something happens and it causes us a lot of harm. But here we are. You can't change what's happened, but you can change the meaning you give to it. And ideally, can you ask yourself, can you reframe a situation? Think about it right now. What is a situation that you have experienced in your life that's caused you a lot of pain, that really hurt you, that really messed you up? Can you even sit there with yourself and acknowledge that you're not perfect and that there has been some really tough things, but can you think of one thing right now, just something? And it might even be hard. It may be painful to even think about it. If there is pain there, I'm here to tell you that that's the opportunity for you to heal. Because if you can sit there and just acknowledge these things, and you get to choose, can you have some compassion for it towards yourself? But can you ask yourself, has there been anything positive that's come as a result? The thing I hear a lot, in no way, shape, or form trying to be insensitive, because I got a big heart for a lot of people. I've heard it all. People have been through so much shit, man. This world is messy. And we make even bigger messes from the mess. And one of my biggest rules that I've always taught my kids, I've taught students that I've worked with, people I worked with, is look, it's not about making a mess. It's about, will you take the responsibility to clean the mess? Clean it. Clean all of it as if the mess had never happened. And then you can learn from it. What can you learn from the situations? I've learned so much from all of the most difficult situations in my life. I have learned so many lessons that benefit me to this day. There's a part of me that's like, yeah, I wish that somehow I wouldn't have had to learn those lessons. But guess what? There's also a part of me that says I signed up to learn those lessons. Those lessons were so necessary, because without those lessons, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be speaking this message with such clarity, conviction, and compassion to really reach someone else out there that is struggling, that's self-sabotaging, self-medicating, self-loathing, self-destructing in ways that I used to do. Because I would have given anything back then to have had this guy talking to you right now showing up for the younger version of myself. I would have given anything. But again, I don't live in that past reality. I don't dwell on that too much. I just know that would have been incredible. It would have been great. But there's something really cool about that, is that my life is so full right now, and I live with such intention that I am reaping the benefits of this guy talking to you right now. I get to hang out with this guy every single day, and it's a hell of a time. It's an incredible time. Life on life's terms. It's incredible. Because guess what? I no longer have to learn from the pain. I can transcend the pain. I can find joy. Does that mean that I don't have challenges? No, we all have challenges right now. Because this entire life is a school. The whole world. We are all in a school. This is a classroom. And the curriculum is called life on earth. And the mission and the lesson to be learned is your true and authentic self. Who are you? Who are you? Are you just a fan? Are you just a pretty guy, pretty girl? Are you just a mommy or daddy, grandma, grandpa, sister, cousin? Is that who you are, or is there something more? Is there something so much more? Are you a worker? Are you an athlete? What are you? How do you define yourself? How do you identify yourself? Are you a child of God? Right. That's a pretty powerful identity. I'm a child of God. Okay. That's some major revelation. Would other people know? How would other people know that? Is it because of what you say or because of what you do? What does that even mean? I'm someone that believes we're all children of God. But I also believe that we're all equal. Every single one of us. The people that you do not like, people that you despise, people that you love, people you cherish, people that you hate, people that you disregard, people that you gossip about, people that you judge, people that you celebrate. We're all equal. And we all deserve the honor of being seen as a child of God. And you know what's beautiful about that? Is that's a massive lesson for us to learn, because when you start to see that spirit in everybody, it starts to change the way you look at this world. But it's really hard, isn't it? Because you wanna see and feel safe in judgment. You want to see people fail. You want to see that there's good people and there's bad people. I heard something today. You want to hear it? There's a saying, this is the root of all evil. What is it? What do you think? What would you put in that blank? Because what I heard today is not what you have heard. It's not what I have heard. This thing, blank, is the root of all evil. You want to know what it is? It's not money. Money is not the root of all evil. You know what it is? Fear. Fear is the root of all evil. And you know where fear comes from? It comes from your ego. And guess what? We all got it. We all have a measure of fear. And I think that's a big revelation that a lot of people struggle with, is realizing that, you know what? There is a side of you that may not come out often. It may not be seen by too many, but there is a side of you, yes, in you, that is capable of doing the most heinous things imaginable on this planet. Yes, you. With the right circumstances, the right situation, and many people are so oblivious. They're so self-justified in projecting hatred. You see it. Resist. Every time I see the sticker that says resist, I'm like, oh no. Oh no. We literally don't realize that resist. What are you resisting? And it's like, you think there's some people that say, oh, well, I got to resist fascism or dictatorship or oppression or any of this stuff. And it's like, huh? If you resist anything, you resist everything. You resist your own growth. You resist your own peace. You resist your own ability to heal. When you think you're applying resistance, energetic resistance to say, no, I'm sending hatred towards you. When you send anger and you are focused, I saw something the other day that was talking about how there's like a celebrity that hates a certain politician like so much that this celebrity literally can't go more than like 5 minutes without obsessively hating this person. When you think about that type of situation, who's winning? Who wins in that situation? Who's right? The person that's filled with hatred, that's sending all of this negative energy to this other person. Think about that. And now think about your own situation. Is there anybody that you don't like or that you're judging and it doesn't matter what they've done or what you even perceive? The worst is when you perceive somebody's doing something wrong, but you don't know for sure. You may be being told stories about someone, but you don't know in your own knowingness for certain, because you're just hearing things. And when you rely on gossip, even in the form of news, it's still gossip. And you would be better served to be focused on you, because anytime Have you ever heard this saying? Where focus goes, energy flows. So everyone that sends somebody energy by focusing on them, you are literally having your energy depleted and you are empowering that person. And it could be in any different way. When you celebrate a certain athlete or a certain entertainer, why do you think they're so successful? Because you are sending them your energy. They are receiving your energy. If you are focused on somebody, it's as simple as this. When this sounds kind of wild and you're kind of like, wait, what? Yes, I am talking about energy transfer. Your energy is powerful. It is an invisible force that literally can transform your entire life if you focus it back on yourself. But think about how powerful this is. We've all had this experience. You have had this experience. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to show you, I'm going to prove to you right now how powerful your energy is on just a tiny little thing that happens. Can you think of a time when you're driving and someone's walking on the sidewalk and you look at them and they have their back to you and you are looking at them, and what do? They turn around, they look at you. Why is that? Because you sent focus and it's like you zap them. And vice versa. Maybe someone has been driving and you're walking and you feel them. You feel it. If you go to the gym, if you're in your workplace, when someone looks at you, could be in the store, when someone looks at you, what do? You look at them. Because it's literally an energetic tap, but it's more than that. You sent energy. You literally gave energy from you and you sent it to them. And the more you do this is the whole concept of being centered on yourself, which is not self-centered in a negative way. When you are centered and grounded on yourself, that means that you have pulled back all these fragments of your energy and your focus, and you are now locked into the mirror that is before you. And you are sending your energy to yourself because you need this energy to transform your life, to empower your life, to build out your dreams, your goals, your desires, the purpose of your experience on this planet. To not just sit there and observe and cheer and celebrate and be angry and have animosity towards other people that are actually doing it. It's a literal thing, energy harvesting. Why do you think mostly all news is gossip and negative in nature? It's fear-based. I always talk about the primary emotions, but it's even reduced down to even two. There's two emotions. There's two ways for you to show up in this life. Any guesses? Number one is fear. And number two is the inverse of fear, the opposite of fear, which is love. So you're either moving in love or you're moving in fear. And because so many people have a hard time we all have different definitions of love. Most of us understand what fear is, but when we say love, when I say love, when you think love, if we were to all write down our definition, they're all different. So when I say love, what I really want you to think about is, are you in a spirit of being helpful towards others? Because when your mind is, hey, how can I help out here? How can I make this situation better? How can I help this other person? That is love, being helpful. But when you're judgmental, when you're closed off, when you're afraid of just whatever the worst case scenario is, like, that ain't it. And we need to sit with that energy. We need to get to the root of our fears. We need to like really start to figure ourselves out. But I can already hear a lot of you. It's just like, man, if you can actually listen to this type of message, what it's really pointing you back to is, can you make peace with your pain? Can you make peace with the pain from your past when you were a child? Can you make peace? And ultimately, in making peace with it, it is to literally release the energetic hold that your body, your mind, your soul, and your spirit have on that situation. Whether you acknowledge it or not, it is in you. Because that pain, which is really called trauma, which is an emotional wound that happens to us 0 to 10 years old, especially, those scars don't, emotional wounds isn't even a scar. It's an unhealed wound. It doesn't heal on its own, doesn't heal naturally. So the only way for you to heal it is for you to make peace with the pain that happened. And that process alone can be almost daunting. And so I'm a huge advocate for people to consider therapy. I appreciate you being here, my brother. Thanks for the shout out. I'm a huge advocate for therapy. A lot of people write it off. A lot of people feel like, it doesn't do nothing. It's like, it does, there's good therapists, there's bad therapists. Get over it. That doesn't mean give up on it. It's just like any other app, you just keep scrolling until you find one that feels aligned. Right? You can also hire someone like me to do one-on-one coaching with you. I guarantee you, we'll sit in those fires and we're going to figure out how to make peace with the pain. And the other thing that I can guarantee you is I can do a lot more than what a therapist can do. But that doesn't mean don't have the therapist. I just can do more. Because I can take you down all kinds of paths that aren't just talking. We can actually work through mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial pains to really get our lives sorted out, to get ourselves in true alignment so you have total health. Health is not just not being sick. True health is having, it's a literal alignment, an energetic alignment that you have mental health, emotional health, which is in your body, spiritual health, physical health, and also financial health. And that's why so many people are frustrated, because marketers are master manipulators. For generations, we've been sold what? Fad diets, get rich quick schemes. How to manipulate your way into the perfect relationship as if somehow that person's going to has to stay with you and they don't. And the most important thing for you to listen to here is that you have the power. You have all the power you need. You have everything you need right now to start putting in the work, putting in the effort to improving your life. Nothing can stop you, only yourself. But if you want to have real long-lasting results, I mean, you got to go all in on this. This is an all-in thing. This is like, it doesn't matter where you're at in life. A lot of people feel that they're behind because, again, you're comparing, right? You're looking out the window still, sending your energy to all these other places when it's like, no, just look in the mirror. If you can just look in the mirror, put the focus on you, look at what you can improve, what you need to make peace with about yourself and your story, what lessons you can learn from the patterns that keep popping up, so that you can empower yourself to no longer be a victim, but to be victorious and use the pain from your past to power you and propel you into a more prosperous, abundant, and aligned future. And that alignment is being divinely aligned. In a spiritual sense, which is really about eliminating the separation. What separation? What separation are we talking about? It's the separation of your identity. Who are you? Who are you? Again, we're all children of God. So the separation is when we feel like God has abandoned us. God is just waiting to judge us. We're hiding from God. We feel abandoned. We feel rejected. We feel judged. We feel the guilt and the shame. And guess where all that's built from? Our ego. Which I love showing the diagram: lower self, higher self. Your lower self is guilt, shame, anger, pride, apathy, grief, hatred. That's all ego. That's all fear. Where you don't realize who you truly are. You have put on masks to pretend who you are. If you do not see yourself as a child of God, that you were created, and you were created perfect, and you were also created to be infinite. If you have any other identity than that, those are false. It's not real. And this is like a really powerful shift, just in full transparency. It's like this year, it's been the year of the snake, right? I promise you, I've been shedding massive skin, layers and layers and layers. And that shedding is, I'm releasing all of these false beliefs and all of these limiting beliefs that are still there, the residue. I've been doing all this work over an extended period of time. And yet I've been going through the final exams, the final test, to really show to myself that I've learned the lesson and that I can sit here and rejoice and be happy and be grateful and be supported, to be loving, to be kind, to be generous, to be peaceful, but to also be strong, to be noble, to be royal, to be stoic, to be healed, to be balanced inside. masculine, feminine energy, right? To be true, to be authentic, to be real, to be vulnerable. Beautiful, beautiful attributes. When you sit in the fire, to be refined, no longer defined. This is how, if you've listened to this message, right? This is not arrogance. This is not cockiness. This is not ego, really. It's not even the ego speaking to you. This is the spirit in me talking to the spirit in you. And one of the biggest measures where I know that I've truly gotten to a place of really just seeing my true self and then embodying that, which is more of a surrender and alignment. The way that I know that shows up is that I can sit here and talk about the hardest times, the most difficult challenges in my life. And I could even have someone else, a total stranger, point out the most difficult times. Look at you. Shouldn't you be ashamed? You did this, you did that. And it's just like, yeah, I don't carry that anymore. Yeah, that's who I used to be. I had to be that to be here. I've learned the lessons. I no longer carry the pain. I've released the pain. I've sought forgiveness. Forgiveness to myself, forgiveness to those I've hurt, forgiveness to God. Like true forgiveness, true release. And so that alone is a place where it's like you're no longer, the pain no longer has power over you. And when you can sit in that, it's like the picture that I painted earlier where you're trying to be in nature and get some peace and quiet, or you're trying to do some meditation and all these people come in to try and disrupt you and distract you. And it's like, there's no irritation. It doesn't irritate you. You can stay centered. The focus is within. The focus is not, oh my goodness, how do I control? Right? Control is fear. Anybody feel like you're a little bit controlling? Got to control every single thing about every single one. Everything has to be done just this way, or else your nervous system is all stressed out and freaked out. And it's like, no, man, peace within, peace within, peace without. Chaos within, chaos without. But when you have peace within and chaos tries to knock on the door and disrupt you, it's like, it doesn't have any power over you, because there's not a fear of like, I have to control. And when you're not wasting your energy on trying to control situations that you have no control over, you start to realize, okay, well, what do I have control over? Well, you have control over your attitude. You have control over how you're going to react or how you're going to respond. There's also a really powerful thing is to where a lot of people that are in victim mindsets, when it comes to relationships of all types, they say that we teach people how to treat us by what we tolerate. What you tolerate is you showing people how to treat you. One of the most powerful things you can do is when someone is being harsh, rude, disrespectful, isn't to try and overdo the harshness, the rudeness, the disrespect, and getting to shouting matches. I know because that was the pattern that I witnessed as a child, and that's also been something I've carried out to my own detriment as an adult. But I've had to learn from the pain that it doesn't have to be that way, that I can just remove myself, or I can heal the things that are within, and that when differences and challenges come, I don't have to lose myself. I can have words. I can communicate. I can express my needs, because guess what? My needs are valuable. You may not value my needs, but that doesn't mean that my needs are not valuable. See, again, my peace, my happiness, my joy is not dependent on any other person. That is self-empowerment. And the more that you become self-empowered by turning your pain into the power that really fuels your healing and your transformation and your spiritual awakening, which is really tearing down all the false walls that you've created around yourself to protect yourself. But the thing is that when you do that, you really put yourself in a cage. By doing that, you are enslaving yourself, which is kind of a trick of the ego to separate you emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically from the very thing that you are entitled to, which is communion with God. It's oneness. It's to be in harmonious relationship with your Creator. And none of this is religious. None of this has to be learned. None of this has to show up at a certain time, at a certain place, say a certain thing, do a certain thing. None of it is based on that. It is literally the birthright inheritance for every single human being on this planet right here, right now. You don't have to say or do anything. I really do hope that this message, as with all the messages and all the messengers, because I'm not alone, that I hope first and foremost that our time is now, because I know that we're ready. I know I'm ready. I know I'm ready to be helpful to others. And if you heard what I said earlier, that means to be loving towards others. It's to be helpful. So if there's something that I can do to be of service to you, to be helpful towards you, I encourage you to reach out to me. You can do it publicly in the comments down below. You can send me a DM. You can reach out to me privately, greg@resultskillexcuses.com. Because one of the most important things for us to all realize is that I see you, you see me, we're one. I see you, you see me, we are one. And you can magnify that to any person anywhere on this planet. We're all one. The separation is an illusion. It's ego. It's ego that makes us feel like, I gotta be guarded. I'm not safe. It's not safe out there. When you don't feel safe, it's because you don't know who you are and whose you are. I appreciate you, brother. I'm glad that you popped in here tonight. Thanks for the comment. It's so simple, dude. It's literally the measure. Fear or love. It's either fear or love. That's it. There's like we want to complicate it. When you're operating in fear, you're guarded, you're wounded, you're filled with ego, and you have forgotten who you are. Again, who are you? Child of God. Which puts you in a place of survival. As if you need to survive something that's eternal. This experience is eternal. If you think that it ends whenever it ends, you know, I got news for you. It doesn't end. The body, right? The bodies end, but these are these human vessels that we pop into as a soul, right? They're so fragile. I mean, one little thing goes wrong and it's like you're cooked. That's it. You know, but that's not it for you. The soul is eternal. It's eternal. And those that, you know, the people that really preach the heaven and hell, right? It's so interesting, and you're gonna hear this a lot more from me because I'm getting all kinds of new downloads, all kinds of direction that is confirming everything I've been saying, but it's even it's magnifying it and enriching it and colorizing it in new ways. But even those of you that want to fight, some of y'all want to fight over the heaven and hell argument, right? But even Jesus himself said, right? Isn't the Lord's Prayer on earth as it is in heaven? That the kingdom is within, on earth as it is in heaven. And we can also realize that it can be on earth as it is in hell. We create our own hells. I have had many seasons that were absolutely hellish. I know people, this is not judging, but I know people that your life is a living hell. Why do you think these sayings are not just casual? And guess where it comes from? It's your thoughts. If your thoughts are of love, of being helpful, right? You're going to be living an incredible life. In like right next to people that are living a life of hell. Because guess what? They're in fear. If you are in fear, the reason why it feels like hell is because you have created a barrier of separation from truly walking with God. That is what makes life feel like hell. That is what creates fear to where you can justify hatred, or you can become overly consumed with sports and entertainment and politics and all these other distractions, as opposed to knowing what can you control, what can't you control. What you can control is, are you going to be loving towards someone else. And again, what loving means is helpful. You want a massive challenge right now? Here's your challenge. Here in the States, really here around the world, there's a lot of different holidays coming up. Christmas is a big one. Hanukkah is a big one. There's others. But if we were to really ask ourselves this, if you want a real challenge, I challenge you to do this. Go perform a miracle for another person in the next week. In the next 24 hours, if you have an opportunity. What does that mean? A miracle. Oh, this guy's talking about being miracle workers now? Yes. You have the power to be a miracle worker. What? How am I supposed to work miracles? Think about it. Has there ever been a time in your life where you were like something crazy was happening in your life? Something happened, a breakdown happened, like your car broke down, and just out of nowhere, someone showed up and helped you. A lot of us would just say, yeah, man, I was just grateful. Yeah, some guy just came and helped me out. Think about it. That was a miracle because it came out of nowhere. That person didn't know you needed help, but they were driving by or they saw you and they said, hey, this person needs help. Think about it. When have you ever done that? And I know probably every single person listening here, there's been a time in your life where you saw someone needed something and you said, hey, can I help you? Oh yeah, man. Really? You would be willing to help me? Yeah, let me help you out. A lot of us are afraid. I bet you there's been times where you've been afraid to help other people. I don't know them. I don't have time to help them. When you don't have time to help somebody, that's the very time to help somebody. Because guess what? You are literally passing up on an opportunity to perform a miracle. Which again, that is a conscientious, intentional way of being to say you are going to be helpful. Helpful is love. You can choose. Are you going to live in love or are you going to live in fear? So I challenge you to go be someone's miracle. Look for the opportunities. When you start looking, the same way if you send energy to somebody that's walking, they turn and look at you and you're like, whoa, shit, why'd they look at me? Because you sent energy. If you start looking for opportunities to be helpful to someone else that's in need of help, you literally have an opportunity, a golden opportunity to provide a miracle, to be a miracle for somebody, to work a miracle. And the most beautiful thing is about when you work miracles for others, guess what? Miracles will happen for you. And then guess what? When miracles start happening for you, you can start sitting and making peace with your pain more because you feel more empowered that wait, there's something greater. There's a greater purpose for my life. Man, I was just thinking I'm on the struggle bus, but wait, I can go do a miracle for somebody? And you got to be able to look at what are you capable of doing. It doesn't mean just we want to jump to, well, I don't have money. I can't just give people money. It's like if you have the energy, the resistance about just giving money away, that's the absolute thing you should go do. But again, you would have to face fear because fear tells you, oh, I can't just do it. Then I'm going to be broke. I can't go homeless. Again, those are all fear. What is the chances if you go and do some random acts of kindness, which is really miracles for other people that are actually in need, that you're now going to be homeless? Do you really think that that's how that's going to play out? I don't think so. And I haven't experienced that ever. It stretched me. But you can also look at your talents. If there's things you know how to do, things you know how to fix, things, just all kinds of talents and experiences that you have, if you start looking, you're going to see somebody that actually could utilize you. Yes, you. And that could even come in the form of volunteering, right? It's a great time to volunteer for a nonprofit, local organization, nonprofit, where you just show up. And guess what? In doing that, especially when there's no pay involved, it's just volunteering your time and your talents and your energy, you are performing a miracle. We all want to receive, don't we? I think it's time that we start putting a little more emphasis on, can you give? It's kind of like give and receive. Cause and effect, right? It's not always mandatory, but a lot of us, if we struggle with receiving, right, we need to learn how to receive. But a lot of us struggle with giving, especially without strings attached, to just be like, here, let me just help this person, which is really love, which is truly a miracle. Go be a miracle. That's my challenge to you. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in here tonight. Get ready. There's a whole nother wave coming. I've been talking about it. Go deeper. Go deeper. Right? If you're struggling right now, you're not alone. You need to ask for some help. It takes the spirit of a warrior to say, I need help. You can reach out to me personally, greg@resultskillexcuses.com. Reach out to someone else that you trust. I don't always believe in the confiding in close friends and using them as, kind of therapists, and, unless there's somebody that the measure is their life a representation of a place that you would want to be? Are they truly walking and living in a way that inspires you? If it's that type of person, yes, definitely. But also just learn to start connecting with yourself, build a relationship with yourself, become your own coach, mentor, motivator, rescuer, to be able to really do that. And also continue to open yourself up to connecting with the divine, connecting with God, with Great Spirit. Knowing that you are not alone. You may feel like it. You've created a little cage for yourself, but help is always right there. At any time, no matter what, you can call upon the help, the assistance. But you have to have the heart to say that if you need help out of a bind, out of a situation, make this the time that is for real. Don't make it the story I just told you. 1 DWI still wasn't enough to give up alcohol, to not stop drinking and driving. 2 DWIs, still not enough. Fuck. Domestic violence. Okay, now I'm done. I'm done. Broken into a million pieces. I'm trying to figure how to put myself back together. I don't even know how I got through that other side of that. But I guarantee you there's been divine protection, miracles. And by miracles, that means that people helped me. So never underestimate your ability to help someone else. That's an act of love. And it even is a miracle. When you see a need, when you are living in a place where you're like, how can I help someone? Even if you go to God, God, show me one person I can help today. Show me one person I can help. I promise you that'll happen. And it's not about like filling your ego. Oh, look at me. Hold on, man. Take a picture. Let me get the selfie of me helping this person. It's like, you don't need any of that. It's not about any of that. You don't need to post any of that shit. Don't make it about that. That's ego. If God shows you, go help this person, go help that person. You don't need to document it for the world. You'll have the story if you want to share the story, but you don't need to like, hey, look at me. That's all ego. That's like, oh wait, I need to be validated. I need to feel like, look, I'm doing this and I feel better. It's like, that's all pride. That's ego. That's lower self. It's unconditional love. It's just, you see a need, you show love, being helpful. You don't need a pat on the back, right? That's a true definition of like, who provides for you? What is that connection? When you're working on your own, when you're putting in the grind, when you need the acknowledgement, it's like, there's work that needs to be done if that's what you're doing it for. If you need the validation, if you need the kudos, if you need the recognition, it's like, you don't need that. I promise you don't need that. It's beautiful when you can do these things in secret. Sometimes I do it in secret. I try as much as possible to do the random acts of kindness, the generosity in secret, unless I literally see someone that needs help and I have to like address it. But I like doing things where it's like, let me pay for that person's stuff, or let me pay their thing, and can I pay that table's tab, and it's like, but I'm not like over there waving, hey, look, I paid for your tab. No, it's like I tell the waitress lady, like all secret, hey, can I pay them? Really, you want to do that? Yeah. And then I just sneak out of there. It's like, cool. The waitress lady knows, but not the people. It's more authentic when it's like that. When you're doing it for like, oh man, take the picture, it's like you lose it. You lose the power of it because you make it about you. It's not about you. It's about serving something greater than yourself. And that never goes unnoticed. When you serve something greater than yourself, which is your creator, I promise you, it does not go unnoticed. You don't need to document it. It doesn't need to be recorded. Just operate from the heart. Operate from your heart. And if you have some pain in your heart, then give yourself some time to sit with that pain, to make peace with it, to understand it. Where is it coming from? When did this happen? What's the origin of this? So that you can really start to put the pieces back together that caused that pain and perform a miracle for yourself by helping yourself, by healing yourself, by saying, I'm ready to release this. I'm ready to forgive myself. I'm ready to forgive the person that did this. Genuinely and authentically, I'm willing to let go of the pain, which also means to forgive. That completes the circuit when you truly forgive and you release. You set yourself free, you set them free, And that is the most beautiful gift that you could give yourself and anyone else. Especially when it's genuine, especially when it's like coming from your heart, it's coming from your soul. You understand there's a lesson there. You understand that the pain, the situation, the violation was all for the greatest good of all people involved. Doesn't mean it feels good, but for the greatest good. That means the outcome. That means that alone was meant to bring you into alignment. It was meant to teach you a lesson. It was meant to teach you about boundaries or teach you to value yourself and to not, keep company that you probably shouldn't keep. There's always something positive to learn from any situation, no matter how terrible. But it takes you having that proper attitude. And that's a mental attitude, positive mental attitude, a growth mindset. And I believe in you. It's inside of you. It's inside of me. I've learned so many incredible lessons from the most painful experiences of my life. Both experiences from my childhood when I did not have power and control over the situations, and also situations as an adult when I was perpetuating the pain and allowing the pain to have power over how I was showing up in this world, who I was being, the things I was choosing, the choices I was making, choices based on fear. Fear of not being good enough, fear of not being accepted, fear of missing out. Overcome your fear with love. Thank you to everybody for listening to tonight's message. I'm going to keep getting on here again. I appreciate every single one of you. I send you nothing but love, joy, and peace, and the strength and the clarity to really make those decisions. Start choosing you, choosing love, and choosing how to go be a miracle in somebody's life. Sit with that. I'll see you on the next one. I love you guys. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it won't be worth it. Greg's out.